Hey guys, Bolt here, and so I've made a previous video about what we're about to do, but this is kind of more what everyone is speculating to happen. So if you don't know the news of Doctor Who is basically in the middle of like trying to figure out what they're gonna do, but they're going to use their nostalgia characters to make a Christmas special, is what people are saying. It sounds like basically is no matter what, we're getting Rose Tyler's actor either as the 16th Doctor or as herself, and then as the 14th Doctor, being David Tennant, which would be amazing. But the thing is, I think this has to be David Tennant's last show up for a while, because he is the Shooty's last episode was perfect. He is basically the I'm trying to remember the second actors. He's a Patrick Troughton of this era. Yes, he is as popular as the fourth, but he is showing up way too much. But I'm trying to think of what others. But basically, what I was going to say is how good does it feel for certain villains and characters, like companions, and what doctors would be okay to show up here. Let me go ahead and just, I've shown this off a few times, but this is the 12th Doctor's screwdriver. The green setting doesn't want to work right now. There it goes. I need to get a new one. I need to actually go get the other screwdrivers too. I have the War Doctor screwdriver in a tin somewhere. But anyways, let's just go ahead and knock out what everyone is speculating to happen. I don't really like to do a lot of these going over leaks because it's just not fun for everybody. And of course, when you're watching it, if something happens and you already know about it, it's like, hey, that's cool to see, but it would have been so much more hype if I saw it without knowing. So from what it looks like, the Daleks are coming back yet again for another special. They haven't came back since Power of the Daleks. I mean, there was that mini episode before the 60th with David Tennant showing up to the genesis of the Daleks. But I think it's time for us to come back to a main story with the Daleks. So it is very good. But it sounds like they're a side plot. And it sounds like the boss character that we saw during the 60th is going to be our big bad here. Or at least going to be like our big storyline for this special. We got hints at it during, it was Star Beast. We heard the Meep say, "I'm going to tell the boss that someone with two hots is very rare." I don't think we saw anything during the Blue Yonder or whatever it is, the Edge of the Universe, but we did get another hint at that at the end of it was Shooty's last episode. The person from that hotel that has moments and times through doors. They mentioned the boss. Another thing is basically this has introduced a whole lot. This era of Shooty has introduced so many where was the 14th? Why are certain things happening? What's with all the gods? I think this episode, from what it's reporting, is that this is supposed to be to also figure out what's happening. So we have the Daleks coming back. We have the boss. We're gonna figure out who that is. 14's gonna come back, so I'm hoping he's gonna explain what happened and why he didn't have any part in like Sutek or the Ronnie. Because the Doctor standing by and doing nothing while the world is dying is weird. So explaining what happened with him would be nice. But like I really didn't see much. I mean, like we need to get over this like God era, because like Shooty was a good era if it did it right. I think I said this in the last episode. Shooty Gadwad was a very good actor, and I would see him as a very fun actor, but the issue is he was supposed to be a reboot on Doctor Who, very similar to Christopher was, but it's just like you felt the hand of every single other Doctor on his shoulder still. He was supposed to be this healthy Doctor that had nothing weighing on him anymore. Yes, he was a lot more open with his emotions than the past Doctors, but it's like we would like it to start without all these timelines weighing down on the Doctor, our character of the main character that we like seen evolve. Because like Christopher was I'm gonna shut up and just like exist, where David Tennant was starting to actually like get back into his connections with humanity. So he started like the side effect, like the mental side effects of being in the war started showing. And then Matt Smith is where it's just like, all right, I gotta let it go. He was on his last life, he believed, so it's kind of like he had to turn over a new leaf and like, this is my last life. I might as well go out with a bang and worry about other things that isn't me. So it's kind of a coping mechanism Matt Smith's character, Doctor used. And then Peter was, I'd say, the start of a new life. But I think he's the Doctor who was like, I've done too much. I need to kind of like step back. Yes, I need to do as I been doing, like be the good Doctor. But it felt like he was the Doctor who was just like, I'd rather not. Well, Jodie's felt like a kind of a trip in like how the character progression is, because it's like we're back to Christopher where she just shut her yap about things, and like the companions learned nothing about the character basically, and it was like these are supposed to be people that you get along with, but they can't learn who you are. So it's like, I understand if we were back to like the Matt Smith like Pond era where he like if Jodie was to like feel it would have been fine. But it's just like then we get into the Doctor who's like completely broken with the 14th David, but then the 15th is just like continuing on the sadness, even though it's supposed to be like the acceptance of the cycle. But I think getting a good jump on it by saying we're unplugging completely after this. Because after the 14th finally has his last episode, it'd be nice to completely clear the field. But anyways, let's just get into what we're here for. Except for like these plot holes and stuff, what could return to make this like a good final episode of this era? Because even though they were saying Shooty was supposed to be the start of a new era, he was supposed to be the tail end. It seems like he's going to be the tail end of this generation of Doctor Who. Because it took a nosedive. And it's a wound right now. So it's just like they really need to patch it up by making it anew. Um, Definitely, a lot of people are saying this is supposed to be the anniversary edition of Doomsday. I would see definitely the Cybermen returning. I don't think anything from the David Tennant era or the RDT, RD, RTD. That's what it is. RTD. Era 1, like the Antipose and like those one lizard-like folk with like the chemicals on their face. I don't think any of that's gonna return. I don't think any of like the Chris Chibnall characters, like the Toothy monster. I don't think any of like the new stuff that's gonna come. Maybe the Zygons come back to kind of like do another part of their little small storyline from Day of the Doctor and Capaldi. Um, but I think they're kind of winding down with their stuff. Centaurans, we haven't really seen a good storyline for them, so maybe a war front would be a good little moment with them. Definitely try to get the Jadoon in here again, but I don't think any other enemies per se need to come back, except for the Cybermen and Daleks. It would be nice to see others, but it's just like this is already starting to feel like a compilation of the Tennant's best. I don't think you need to add more. Companions. Definitely anyone older can't return. It would be nice to see Mel for one last time. I don't think Ace or Tegan's gonna return. We might get one or two of the others we have not seen yet. We might see Jo one last time before she gets. I don't know if she's still alive, but if the actor is still alive, I think they need to get her in one more time. Maybe give Ian. He being the only one I saw in the past episodes. Like, give these older people one last time to meet the Doctor. And then new age stuff. I would really like to see Martha. That way we completely see everybody from Tenet. Her and Meggie, I would really like to see them come back because they were the side chick to the main two that we're supposed to see in this special. So it'd be nice to be like, you know, your two are still a disaster, but you hold us on the side, but we went and got married, have kids and stuff. That would be nice to kind of have that kind of interaction with them. It's reported that Martha's daughter Rose is supposed to come back. That would be a nice little interaction. I don't think any of more. We might see Martha for a little bit, but I don't think any more of the nobles should return. I would like to see Jack, just to kind of see him react to the face returning, but I think him having so much complications with who, like, his drama, basically. I don't think they're going to ever bring him back to kind of separate him from the series. I think to completely forgive himself and move on to be what the 15th is supposed to be, I think definitely having one more moment with the Pawns, Clara, because Clara's not yet been like back to, because in the 60th she's still adventuring. So I think having her right before she comes back to her timeline, or where she's supposed to die, stopping by to see the 14th would be nice. That way he doesn't feel responsible for it. And then maybe one last time with what's his face? Well, what's her face? It was Capaldi's last two companions. That would be nice for them to come back as like the glass people. I think we're done with any of the Jodie's companions. They've been appearing way too much. But definitely, so enemies, Daleks, Cybermen, maybe the Master, because the Master's tooth was picked up, but I think that should be good for a good new start to the next series. But for companions, definitely I want Mickey and Martha to come back. Give Mel one more time. Get some of the old other companions we don't see. Give a chance for the older companions that won't be able to show up again if we wait for a while. It'd be nice to see them one last time. Meet the Doctor. Jack would be nice if they're willing to have him on. The Pawns, Clara, and Bill. Those three would be nice to see David forgive himself for it. And then I don't want to see the 13 companions. Moving on to the Doctors. Definitely, I think we're done seeing Peter Davison, Colin Baker, Sylvester McCoy. We can't see War. The War is time locked. Of course, once David is done, I don't want to see him after this one. So I think him having a last little roundabout would be nice. Jodie just appeared, and she's too new to come back. Not to mention, a lot of her stuff has no reason to come back. I think if Ncuti is to come back, he should be like, to explain how the bi-generation worked is that at the end of the special, David does, like maybe in the future, or he does like he regenerates after everything's done and said into Ncuti to explain that whole thing, to kind of fix the bi-generation. But I think that's the only time Ncuti should come back, just to kind of be like, explain bi-generation, and let him see the Daleks, but I don't think he has any other reason to come back. Now, 1, 2, and 3 would be amazing to come back. I know David Bradley's come back a few times during Twice Upon a Time and Power of the Daleks. But definitely before we lose yet another actor to the first Doctor, I think we should have him come around again. It would be nice to have in that biopic or whatever of what David Bradley originally acted in, when he was acting as William Hartnell. I think the person who came in to substitute for Patrick Troughton, I think he should just have at least one more return, so we at least get to see the second. And then I know it's very unlikely to see I think it's the son of John Pertwee, Sean Pertwee, I think it is. If he comes back to play his father, it'd be nice. So I think 1, 2, and 3 would be nice. It's just 1 is a little older. The second one has not come back in media except for that one time, and then the third one, I think reportedly says he doesn't want to, but it would be nice. I think Tom Baker at least needs one more return to actual Doctor Who, because I don't think he's came back as the fourth since his role. I don't think he's ever shown up in any other media except for, I think they made a fan film that became canon. but I don't think Tom Baker's met any of the other doctors because they played a part of his his era for the Five Doctors. He escaped, and they did like a little explanation of why he didn't show up in the end. Um, he didn't meet the sixth. He didn't meet the seventh. We never have anything about the eighth, or war. No. So basically, Tom Baker needs a return, but I think he is also kind of like he thinks the return of Doctors is kind of rubbish. So it's like it would be nice to have you come on one more time because we saw him back in the 50th, but it would make so much sense to return him back before we lose him. Let's see here. Definitely would be nice to see Eighth again because the Eighth is just like he's got a movie, a special, and like a few moments in Power of the Dalek. It would be nice to have him have a good amount of screen time. I think they should return. Like if they can't find an actor or someone, I think they need to have him have a time to shine for once. That way we get to actually see him on screen. Have like a miniature series with him. But definitely would be nice to see him though. 11, 12, and 9. 9 is hard because I think we're still doing RTD, so I don't think he'll return. I don't think Christopher will return. I think Matt needs to return for another situation than this. So I think holding off would be nice, but similar to other of the older actors, I think Peter Capaldi coming back after a few regenerations would be nice. Maybe to meet Martha would be nice to kind of like have that connection of where he got the face from. But yeah, so basically 1, 2, 3 would be nice. 4 kind of needs to happen, but I doubt he's gonna come up. 5, 6, 7, way too much. 8, actor passed away, but he's also time locked. Can't explain that. 8, I would like to see him more, but they're probably not because they showed him in the Power of the Daleks. But it would be nice to at least give him a show up or give him a separate miniseries. 9 won't come back if RTD unless he gets paid. David is coming back. Matt would be nice to have him come back for something different that has nothing to do with the RTD era. I think if we have a Moffat era return, it would be nice to have Matt Smith back. Capaldi, similar to 1, 2, and 3, it'd be nice to kind of 1, 2, 3, and 4. It'd be nice to have him 12 come back, and then 13 doesn't need to come back because we just got her. And 15 maybe to explain by generation, or to kind of like just say, hey, you met the Daleks. And that's kind of my mentality about things. Because it's just like, I was looking at it, and it's like, this person shows up, that person shows up. But if you guys didn't see, I did have a video a few weeks ago that kind of explains what I think would be perfect. If it's just like a 2-part special, where the first part is basically all of Tennant era, that way RTD gets his big blowout bonanza. But part 2 is the celebration of Doctor Who by bringing in everybody. That way we're saying goodbye to Doctor Who as we know it, and that way we can burn everything and start anew. But I doubt we're going to see that, and the issue is, I think even with the 16th Doctor, I don't think we're going to be able to get away from the past of Doctor Who unless we completely get to like close out so many stories or have like a explanation about a lot. But that's my thoughts on things. I will see you guys in the next one. That was this one. I got to do some more recordings before someone comes up. Say nerdy.